So a while ago, we were kind of wondering what happened to Dominique Anglade. I know we brought up this thing from time to time, and what happens with leaders in this province anyway. I remember after Philip Couillard stepped down, we could find him nowhere.
Yeah.
Didn't know what he was doing, where he was. And the same happened for almost a year, just about, with Dominique Anglade. You remember after the last election, as the former head of the provincial Liberal Party, after losing, she decided, no, I've had enough. And we heard nothing, did we?
Hair, yes.
Did we hear anything?
No.
And then today, listening to our newscast, and all of a sudden, Dominique Anglade announcing that now she's decided to step in the world of academics. So Dominique Anglade is on the line right now. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm not making any of that up. People disappear as leaders of provincial parties in this province, never to be heard from again, Dominique.
Well, it's a bit normal, though, because the intensity of politics after, for myself, for example, spending 7 years in politics, you just want to step back and reflect and think about what your next chapter is going to be. So that's why I didn't want to do any interview. I said, I've done enough interviews in my life. I'm just going to spend time with my family, my friends, see people that I haven't seen in a long time, reflect, and I'll come back and make interviews later on.
So we appreciate you always were very accessible. We had lots of interviews with you while you were in that role. And we also appreciate that you needed a bit of time to, regroup and see what's next. Did you have an inkling that this was the direction you wanted to be heading in, or was this something that you decided upon in reflection?
Yeah, if you had told me, you're going to be in academia, I would have said not a chance. So it's something that I hadn't thought about. And after when I left, I received a number of offers. And I was thinking maybe I'm going to go back to the private sector because I spent a fair bit of my career in the private sector. But I didn't feel it. I was like, that's not really what I want to do. And I was really passionate about climate change and working with a younger generation, trying to fix some of those issues. And I thought, you know what, why not academia? Both my parents were in academia. I was in the private, then I was in the public sector. Why not something else? And after talking to HEC Montréal and the leaders that they have and the programs and what they want to do, the level of ambition, I'm like, you know what? This is what I need to do.
You're a graduate of HEC, right?
I'm a graduate 20 years ago, so it doesn't make me feel any younger.
Yeah.
But 20 years ago, I graduated did my MBA at HEC.
Okay, what are you going to be teaching there?
So it's going to be a combination of things. So first of all, there's going to be some teaching, but there's going to be a lot of work on programs that I'll be working with the other professors to develop training and programs for younger leaders, but also for organizations and companies. I'm going to be working with international organizations and HEC Montréal to establish better connections and better programs that you could do jointly with other universities. And there is one element that I really want to work on, and it's climate change and women, because climate change is impacting women more so than men and many different countries, including ours. And I really want to find out more about this, reflect on this, maybe do some research. So these are the three topics that I'm really interested in.
Now, I would have to ask what I'm sure is a dumb question, but it needs to sort of be asked. So it's been about a year or so. Has there been any time in that entire, year that you've actually missed being in politics?
No. No.
That was quick.
And it's funny because I thought, I'm going to miss part of it. But it was so, when I got home, first of all, I realized that my kids were teenagers. And just having a conversation with my teenage boy, for example, at 11 p.m. and talking to him until 1 in the morning. I'm like, all these things that I would be missing right now if I were in politics. No, I haven't missed politics at all. It's also because I think I spent 7 years in politics. So I was in M&A, I was a minister, I was a deputy premier, then leader of the party, 3 elections. I did all this while raising 3 children and being still married to their father. I think, the level of intensity was quite high. And once you're done, I really need to do something else at that point.
When
Okay.
you're done, you're
You're
done.
done, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's great. And I think it must be wonderful to be spending more time with your kids. Do you find yourself still kind of following along with politics? And what do you make of the current state of things? I won't ask you specifically about the Liberal Party necessarily, but what do you think about the current state of affairs?
So it's hard for me not to look at politics at all, obviously, because I've always had an interest. Generally speaking, I'm really concerned about the polarization that we see in politics across the board, whether it's south of the border, whether it's other countries, whether it's here in Canada as well. I'm really, as I said this before, I am not going to be, like we say in French, the belle-mère of the Liberal Party of Quebec. So I'm not going to comment on the Liberal Party. I really hope that they find the right leader between now and the next election. But other than that, I'm really not going to be involved.
Okay. So I understand that,
good.
and I know Natasha won't ask, but I'm going to ask, and I'm asking only because this was in the news again this week when Marc Tanguay finally let everyone know he wasn't going to stay on to run for leadership of the party. Why does no one want to head up the provincial Liberal Party, do you think?
It's a super tough job. That's why. I mean, it's not an easy job. People really underestimate what it takes to be the leader of a party today and to be the leader of the Liberal Party. So people look at this and they say, all the compromises that you will have to make and the investment. I think they're thinking, I'm just it might not be for me. So that's why I think you don't have as many people deciding to run. It's tough. It's a tough job.
Has any of it surprised you, the fact that it's been this tough? And yes, it's a tough job, but it's always been a tough job.
Yes, but I guess it's a different. In my case, I guess it was a different story because the context was tougher. I became the leader while we were in the pandemic. I was the first woman to head the party, the first Black woman to head any party in Canada, for that matter. And I think it brings a level of complexity that people really underestimate, but that does exist. So in my case, I think it was I probably underestimated the level of complexity of the job, but it was a big challenge.
Yeah, I bet you have a very unique perspective on things. Any chance you'll return to politics? Are you done? And will you write a book about your experience?
I have no intention of writing a book right now, and I have no intention of going back to politics. Although I always say, I always say in French, l'avenir est long. Who knows? I'm young. I'm really interested in academia. I have a lot of projects that I want to pursue, and we'll see in the future. But I don't see it in the next years. In the next coming years.
You mentioned about being able to talk to your kids, and I thought that was so, such a sweet thing to be able to focus on. So my question was going to be, how are your kids with you being home now?
I think they're really happy.
I bet.
I don't know if they would say it that way. But my little one said, well, I'm really happy that you're home, but you might be too often home, Mom, now, because you have too many questions. No, I think it was good for the kids, honestly. Good for my husband as well, because when you're in politics, especially if you're the leader, your significant other has to step up. Mm-hmm. And for him, I think it's better altogether. And you do things that, like I remember I went to a brunch shortly after leaving politics, and I stayed at the brunch for 6 hours. I'm like, oh my God. Like normally you do 40 minutes and say, I'm really happy to see you all. I have to run. 6 hours.
Wow.
It was great.
Yeah.
Like these are the things that I really missed.
Yeah.
So I'm still enjoying those moments.
What a shift. What a shift. Now, if any of your 3 kids came to you and said, I want to go into politics, Mom, what would you say to them?
I would totally encourage them. But none of them has raised their hand. They're not. There's definitely one that's never going to go into politics, and the other 2, I don't know. But I would encourage anybody to go into politics. I had a great 7 years. It was tough. It was not easy. but I stayed 7 years because I enjoyed it. So I would always support somebody saying, I'm going to try and get into politics.
I will ask, because we're running out of time, one last question. Of course, at Marwa Risky, her name has sort of been thrown in there as possibly someone who might consider running for leader. She's a new mom as well. What advice would you have for her?
Well, it's easier to go and be a leader when the kids are really young than when they're teenagers. That's one thing I can say. Okay. So her kid is really young. I think it's easier. And if she wants to go, then I'll encourage anybody that decides to go to give it a try.
Okay.
All right. Well, all the best to you in your
Absolutely.
new teaching position at HEC. And once again, we super appreciate your time.
Yeah, we wish you all the best. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
You take care.
You too.
You too.
Dominique Anglade, former leader of the Quebec Liberal Party, now about to become a professor at HEC, the business school. Boy, it's amazing to hear. That last part really got to me, right? Because every time you're in that job, whenever you go somewhere, you're in, you're out, you shake a couple of hands, you're at a rubber chicken dinner for 45 minutes, and then realizing, oh my God, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to.
I can have another mimosa.
I love that. It's so telling.